Some breaking news in regards to the federal election. I'm joined by the host of Power Play, Don Martin, and I will let you do the honors. Don?
Here we go. 41-day campaign will start tomorrow. The Prime Minister will visit the Governor General to drop the writ, as they say, to start the campaign officially. One that, as you well know, Jen, has been going on unofficially for most of the summer. Prepare, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to get nasty. It's going to get very dirty in some ways. But this is a battle for the biggest political job in Canada, and we have two combatants that in the polls are very nearly tied. So if there's ever been a campaign recently that matters, it starts tomorrow. So
we are looking at where our Nanos poll shows the Liberals and the Conservatives. Yep. And as you mentioned, you know, they're neck and neck because there's a plus and minus of about 3%. So they're in a virtual tie, as you mentioned. You said a couple words there, nasty and dirty. Explain how you think this campaign's going to go.
Yeah, well, the Liberals have already been trying to paint Andrew Scheer in a number of unflattering ways. They're dragging out old videos, twisting them, editing them a little bit to make them look worse than they really are. But they're trying to suggest he's a social conservative, can't be trusted not to bring back abortion, tackling gay marriages. He's raised some questions about public education funding, and most recently raised questions about what he intends to do to balance the budget. You know, there's a lot of spending cuts that would have to be enacted to make that happen. Scheer had a video that basically said, well, you know, we got to be very careful we sell these cuts before we make them and make sure the public has buy-in before we do them. They changed a few of the way it was put together to make it sound a little worse. So that's how the Liberals are trying to define Andrew Scheer, whose biggest challenge is trying to define himself. The Conservatives, I'm sure, are ready to return fire with just as much mud. This is just the way it goes in campaigns. This isn't breaking new ground. This is maybe just getting a little dirtier than it was before.
So the Conservatives really wanted to capitalize, as it were, on the SNC-Lavalin scandal and the firing or the resignations, I should say, of Jody Wilson-Raybould and Jane Philpott. Does that still carry water, or have voters forgotten about that, or will we see that coming up now more in the weeks ahead?
The Conservatives will try to bring that back in. A lot of the negative reaction to Trudeau's moves on that is baked into the numbers already, although there has been a bit of amnesia out there as to what all those details were about. The ethics commissioner, as you may recall, came out and said that Justin Trudeau broke ethics law. That was something that was done in the dead of August. Not many people were paying attention. So really, the Liberals have got a few breaks on that front, and it's an issue that's a little hard to explain in 20-second sound bites, so it's going to be very hard to make that stick in any real way. But this is a very different election for Justin Trudeau than the last one. He's got a record to defend, and that aura about being fresh and new and trying to change the way politics is done, do a different way, that luster has definitely faded in the public mindset. This isn't a shiny new pony. This one's got some mud on its legs. So I think that it's going to be a very different campaign from the Conservative standpoint. They're not going to say he's just not ready. They're going to argue he just didn't deliver.
There you go. Okay, put the pot of coffee on, Don. You're going to need it for the next few weeks. Good to talk to you, as always.
We love it.
Yeah, I know you do. Power Play, Don Martin joining me.